Um, Hello girls. So today we'll do cryopreservation and vitrification. I'll make two separate videos, but I will teach them together. I'll teach them immediately one after the other, so that because both of these techniques, cryopreservation and vitrification, they are very similar. So I would advise you to listen to the cryopreservation and then immediately listen to vitrification so that it stays in your mind. Suppose you listen today and then tomorrow you listen the next video, again you have to revise cryopreservation because you will forget. It is so much related. So you take it all at once, listen to the video, this cryopreservation and then the vitrification, so that you just have to listen only once the video and you will catch, because they are very much similar to each other. Okay, that's why I'm doing the two topics together. Okay, so what you understand by germplasm? Okay, so germplasm is the total content of the genes. Okay, so I take from one of my cells. Okay, that is enough for a human germplasm. Okay, for my germplasm. All right, so all the genes should be present. Okay, and then this germplasm should be hereditable, means it should be able to be transferred from parent to offspring through the germ cells, okay, through the sperms or the ovum, okay, through the germ cells. All right, so germplasm, it is genetic material that can be transmitted through the germ cells from parent to offspring. Okay, so I think you have understood, germplasm. It's not that it's not, germplasm doesn't mean any part of my cell or your cell. No, it should be the ovum and the sperm. Okay, it should be the ovum. Okay, the ovum or the sperm. Okay, so we need to conserve these germplasm. I think last year you did know those different types of conservation, in situ, ex situ and all. So what was in situ conservation? Just to remind you, it was where you conserve them in their own natural habitat, okay, in their place or in their site of existence, in their own place of habitat. You don't have to carry from one place to another place, where they were originally found. Ex situ, you take out an ex plant and you culture it and you preserve it somewhere else via cell culture or tissue culture or cryopreservation or vitrification or any other means, okay, where you do it out of even seed conservation, when you put it in a seed bank, that is also ex situ. Okay, so we are just picking up from last year when we studied in ecology, how to conserve the environment. So in situ you have already done in detail last year. So let's us do a little bit about some culture techniques, tissue culture techniques, biotechnology techniques, okay, where we are going to preserve in the cryo state. Cryo state means in the frozen state. Okay, so cryopreservation will mean what? That we are conserving tissues in the frozen state, okay, in the below zero, okay, very low temperatures, such as you have your deep freezer, right? You have your freezers, your refrigerator at home, that can be used as a cryopreservation. You can store your chicken and all, there, and the temperature in your refrigerator is how much? So in the down one, where ice is not there, that's 4 degrees, and in the up one it can go up to minus 15. That's the max, okay, your refrigerator. But other than your normal home refrigerator, you can store at even lower temperatures. Okay, like when they bring the fish from Andhra Pradesh, the fish that you eat, okay, have you seen that block of ice? Do you think that is water, frozen water? Just imagine if it was frozen water. Oh my God, all the people who go and shop in the fish market will be slipping left and right. It'll be flooding. Because just imagine when that ice will melt, no, and so many kilos of ice, we will all be like drowning in water, no. All those, the whole market will be extremely like flooded. But they use solid carbon dioxide, okay. They use frozen carbon dioxide. Yes, okay, it is still wet, the fish market, obviously still wet, because see, frozen carbon dioxide, it evaporates directly into vapor, okay, but also it will absorb some moisture from the environment, and that is the wetness that you find in the fish. But it's not like super wet, no, like the ice. You just hold and melt an ice from your fridge in your hand, it'll be very wet in your fingers, okay. But you hold and you try and melt the fish from your shop, from the fish shop, it will not leave so much water residue, okay, not so much. It'll be there little bit, obviously, because from the heat of your hand or the ground is there, no, it will trap it in a liquid state, but it's not as wet as the ice from with water, okay. So they used to preserve it in the solid carbon dioxide, okay. Solid carbon dioxide has a temperature of minus 79 degrees Celsius, okay. So that is why, even though we bring it all the way from Andhra Pradesh, it takes at least 3 to 5 days in the train. That's why the fish doesn't spoil, because it's not just at 0 degree, not just at 10 degree, it is at minus 79 degree, okay. So the fish is in very frozen state. Then there are some deep freezers, that scientists use in their laboratory, and they can bring down the temperature up to minus 80 degrees, okay. Nowadays, later you have those LCD touchscreen wala refrigerator, no, which are smart refrigerators. You can bring it down up to your choice. Then you have your vapor phase nitrogen, which is about minus 150 degrees Celsius, or liquid nitrogen, which is minus 196 degrees Celsius, okay. Like before, no, like when one celebrity will sing, you will see some smoke in the ground, no, that is just evaporated liquid nitrogen, okay. It becomes like a vapor, no, but it's very heavy. So that is the fog thing, okay. For plant materials, mainly we store them in liquid nitrogen, okay, because it's the most convenient form of cryopreservant, okay. It's the most convenient form. It stays in the very low temperature, and the tissues are the plant tissues are very well preserved in it, okay, as compared to deep freezers, because liquid nitrogen, you can pour them in small test tubes and you can close them, okay. So that small plant material is enough, okay. If you keep in a deep freezer, it's like keeping meat, no, the plant material might get spoiled, okay. I tend to over explain because I don't know, I just want you guys to have a good concept, no. That's why I tend to over explain things. My God, already just introduction and 8 minutes, okay. Let's see how to preserve the plant stock cells, okay. So you remember, no, 2 years ago or a year back, 2 years ago, there was a very bad fire in the Amazon rainforest. So you can just imagine, or the Australian bushfires, you can just imagine how many animals and how many plants they were burned and maybe lost, and completely wiped out, okay. That's just one example. Then what about the volcanic eruption of Hawaiian Islands, no, it was a few years ago in the news, like then tsunamis or floods. Just imagine how many we have lost, okay. So the scientists, they realized that we need to conserve them, okay, not just because any natural disaster can happen anytime, no. Suppose like a few days ago there was an earthquake, no. I think you were all traumatized. I was also traumatized. I was scared, no. So just imagine the Nepal earthquake. So maybe some were lost, some species were lost. So the scientists know from before, they had the intuition, they had the foresight to see that we never know now what can happen in the future if suppose some asteroid hits, okay, and like the dinosaurs, it hit somewhere and destroyed all the plants there, no. So in the future generations of our children's children, what if they need some medicine from some plant that was present now, so you should be able to preserve these seeds, these tissues, these parts of a plant which will be like a vault, like a security, like a second security password, no, which will ensure that it will never be lost. Okay, simply you just tissue culture it, and then you can make as many as you want. You tissue culture one small piece of explant, it will grow into a plant, and then from that one you already cultured, keep cutting as much as you want, 1 million, 2 million also. Then you can rebuild the society, you can regenerate that plant, so that we do not face, like the dinosaurs faced, everything extinct in one go. So we have these secure vaults. Okay. Just a small, interesting fun fact. Oh my god, I sound like such a nerd. Fun facts. There is a seed vault, okay, in the North Pole, okay, in Norway, in Svedvarg, and all the countries, including India, we took part. All the countries, we all sent seed samples, okay, like your rice, your millet, your Andhra, what is that? Andhra rice, no? Your basmati rice, your whatever rice varieties that we have in India, wheat varieties, different agricultural seeds, maize and all, no? We sent small samples, and we have all kept in that seed vault, okay. And in the North Pole in Norway, it's naturally very cold, okay. They will have to maintain not much like they will have to use air freezers, obviously, but it will not use that much energy, because even if society fails, it's already in a very cold place, those seeds will survive. So all the countries, they took part, and they sent all of their food grains, okay, so that we don't face the dinosaurs again. No, that's what I mean. Okay, I again over explaining. Okay, so why do we need to conserve? Because the normal method of conservation, it still cannot prevent losses by, let's say, some pathogen attacks, just like right now, no, COVID happened. We don't know some epidemic, like 150 years ago, there was a very bad famine, no, in India. A lot of people died because there was a like now, why did the Green Revolution happen? It's because we had faced a very bad famine, okay. When we were still under British rule, the Indians, we felt a very bad famine because our rice varieties weren't resistant to those pests. Then Dr. Verghese Hussain, no, he is the father of, the Green Revolution. He decided with Jawaharlal Nehru and all, no, that I will take initiative in Green Revolution because India is an agricultural country. Yes, we are not industrial like America. Yes, we are not standard like UK, but we are a country of 80%, 70% farming. No, we're surviving on farming. So let us give our full 100% in the Green Revolution. And now after like 75 years, after 75 years, what is funny is that other countries depend on us for their food grains. Did you know that, girls? We are exporting our basmati everywhere because we have perfected our agricultural methods. Even the rice that comes in your house, It is a already experimented rice which is resistant to many pests and disease, and it's full of health and nutrients. Okay, so be proud, that we are botanists. We are a part of the Green Revolution. Did you know your subject, botany, agriculture, botany, we are the brainchild of Verghese Hussein only. We are the we are the child, the child of the Green Revolution. Okay, so most of you do not, I don't think you know this, that the subject botany and agriculture, it was the brainchild of the Green Revolution. Okay, so that is why botany is one of the ancient subjects. It was like biotechnology, molecular, PMB, all these are new subjects. No, but botany is one of the basic subject because we are a nation of agricultures. Again, I have gone out of topic. Okay. But I wanted to make it interesting also, because I can't see you, you can't see me. God knows whether you are sleeping or listening. I don't know. So I'm trying my best to make it interesting. Okay. So then climate disorders. I'm continuing this one. So climate disasters like tsunamis and all, they may be able to wipe out, like I said. Then natural disasters, political, economic causes. Like suppose political and economic causes, you may think this may not apply to you. Hey, why should we care? But if our government did not support Dr. Verghese Hussein to put forward the Green Revolution, we may still be like Africa, like countries of Africa who are still starving, okay, who are still facing mass starvation. So if the government, the political and the economy of the government did not back up, the Green Revolution, conserve, educate, research, if they do not support, who knows, India may not be a developing country at all. We may be still underdeveloped. We might be fighting, having civil wars like some countries in the Congo and all, no? They are not at peace for land, for food, for so many political causes, okay? So should never think that I should not be interested in politics, or I should not be, who cares about the economy of the country? We should care. Okay, back to the syllabus. When I will finish, I don't know. Okay. Then they cannot save the viability of the short-lived economic plans. Okay, that you can read on your own. Okay, now let us see in detail about cryopreservation. We store them at very low temperature so that they slow down the cell's growth rate. Okay, it's like you are stopping aging. Okay, you are slowing down aging. You're not, you will never die, but obviously you will die one day, but you will die at very slow rate. You get it? It's like they will grow very, very slowly. Okay, the biological activities are very slow. The mitochondria will do its work, but very slowly it will do. The cells will replicate, yes, but very slowly, so that they live long. So the biological activities are halted for a long time. Cryobiology deals with the study of the metabolic activities and the responses in plant materials stored at low temperatures using liquid nitrogen and in the presence of cryoprotectants. Now you will have to use these cryoprotectants so that just imagine I just keep you in the fridge. You will get right. What is it? What's that disease? Hypothermia, no? You might lose your limbs, you might die of hypothermia. So that's why we have to protect the tissues, okay, the plant tissues with some cryoprotectants so that they do not get damaged. Their cells do not get damaged when they are undergoing the process of extreme cooling. Okay, so there are some liquids that protect. Okay. So these scientists, they have found some methods to slow down the growth of plant tissues. you can change the conditions, you can change the temperature or the gas composition of where you're conducting experiment. Then you can change the nutrient medium, or you can supplement with growth retardants. Okay, so during when you slow down the growth of these cells, okay, you have some methods that will help in the slowing down of the growth. Okay, you change the conditions, the temperature you can change, the gas composition you change, right? The pressure you might change. Then you can add nutrient medium. Okay, means perfect nutrition. Okay, perfectly optimum, not too much, not too less. Okay, then some growth retardants. Okay, some chemicals which will help slow down their biological activities. Okay, let's see. Then these are some examples of which ones we use to store. These are the example of the plant, so you give at least 1 or 2 examples. Wheat and rice, though, obviously, no, we have to protect our future. Okay, then let's look at the method of cryopreservation. So number 1, you have to select the proper material. Okay, you have to check, is it a good part of a plant, is it a dying one, is it a diseased one? You cannot just take any random one. No, you have to choose it carefully. Okay, then not just looking at it, you have to look at the cells. Okay, you look in the microscope, look at the cells, and you should take an old woman to save, or you should save the young one? Just like now during this pandemic, no, these old people, they are giving up their ventilators to save young people, because that is ethical, that is the right thing to do. No, they have lived their life. Okay, so even here, when you choose to protect, to preserve, you have to choose the young and highly dividing cells. Okay, meristematic, I've been telling you, means those very, very highly dividing cells. Okay, like those the shoot apical, which has all the information ready to produce a fully new plant. Okay, like the zygote part, remember that embryo part. Okay, I'm not going to go back again because I'll be wasting time. This video will go for hours and hours. Okay, then they just keep seeing the young meristematic and highly cytoplasmic cells. Okay, they should and which are non-vacuolated, means they have a lot of information. Okay, vacuole is just free space which is filled with water. Okay, and they should have thin walls. The cells should be small in size. Okay, so the smaller you are, the more you have many things. Okay, so they say no, good things come in small sizes. So I am too big, too large in size. So Miss Jihun, she's a good thing, she came in a small size. Okay, so it means it doesn't mean that. What I mean is that it's in small size because all the genetic material, the cytoplasm, the matrix, the mitochondria are all packed in the right place, in the right amount, without any wasted space. No, like vacuoles, like, you know, toxic material, etc. Okay, so the density of the cell also, you should have a high density of cell. Okay, the high density cell means it has lots of mitochondria, lots of Golgi bodies, lots of endoplasmic reticulum, lots of ribosomes. Okay, density means thick, no? So it should be thick. Thick, when we say thick, means so many organelles are there in excess. Okay, then number 2, you have to add your cryoprotectin. Okay, so that you don't damage that cell, you know, because ice crystals, they can damage, no? Hypothermia, you know, cold damage also can happen. So you can add. Okay, there only it's written the plant material can get damaged because of A and B. Okay, you read on your own. So what are cryoprotectins? These are chemicals, okay, that reduce cellular damage during cryopreservation, and they can be, example is sugar, glycol, polyethylene glycol, glycerine, sucrose, etc. Now, for those of you whose dads, they have car, you just ask your dad, do you use cryoprotectin in your vehicle? He will say yes. There is a cryoprotectin that they add in the that is there in the car machine, so that during winter it will not freeze and during summer it will not overheat. Okay, for the car it does both ways, heat and low, it protects. So you ask your dad about that. It's like you were learning something, because I think women also, we should learn how to drive. And unfortunately I still cannot drive. I would like to learn. I've been trying to learn but not able. So you students also, when you have grown up, you would like to drive, I'm sure, to be independent women. Okay, let's look at the freezing. Okay, we should freeze in such a way that there should be least amount of damage. Okay, there should not be any intracellular freezing, means inside the cell it should not be frozen, and there should be no crystals formed inside the cell. Okay, so we should freeze at a regulated rate, means at a fixed rate. Okay, not suddenly you super freeze then you slow down, not like that. It should be at a regular interval, or you have to pre-freeze them. Now there are three methods: rapid freezing, slow freezing, and stepwise freezing. Okay, so rapid one is the easiest one. You just take it and you plunge it into the liquid nitrogen. Okay, freezing is done quickly so that it will prevent ice crystal formation. All right, then slow freezing, you slow down the temperature bit by bit by bit, around 0.1 to 10 degrees Celsius of change per minute. Okay, whichever suits your plant. All right, so when you do stepwise, outside the cell they may form ice crystals, but inside they will not form. Okay, so this one, it also causes the cell to dehydrate because you are doing stepwise, no? So there's ample time for osmosis. Okay, so when they dehydrate, they can survive even longer. Okay, so when you want to preserve some cells for even longer time, you don't go for rapid, you go for slow. Okay, then you have a stepwise freezing. First you lower down the temperature by this much, minus 20 to 40. Then you stop the freezing, okay, for 30 minutes, and then you plunge it in liquid nitrogen. Okay, so this is stepwise. All the methods are equally as good, whichever you choose, but it depends on your number one, it depends on your plant material and how long you want it. Okay, then next, after you freeze it, then you store it in the liquid nitrogen. Okay, so if you store it in liquid nitrogen, it will remain at a low temperature for a long time. So these liquid nitrogens, there is a special container with a lid. Okay, and this is the liquid nitrogen. Then you put your test tubes inside. Okay, inside this test tube there are those these frozen specimens, no? Okay, then when you need it, you will thaw. Okay, when you need it, you will melt. Means after you have stored in the liquid nitrogen, storing maybe 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years, you want to reculture it, then you will thaw. Okay, you will melt it, and you have to increase the temperature up to this much. Okay, don't be so slow. You have to do it quickly, but don't overheat. Okay, then when the ice crystals disappear, you transfer it into a water bath to maintain a temperature of around this much. Okay, after, when you thaw, you should give it a suitable nutrition. Okay, then you can wash them to remove the toxic chemicals, the toxic cryoprotectants, or if they are toxic. When they are not toxic, then you can reculture them directly. Then you reculture it in the, remember that agar media, the MS media, whichever media you use, you culture them, and then when they grow into new plants, then you transfer them into the plantlets, you transfer them into the nursery. Then from the nursery, when they are stronger, when they're hard enough, transfer them to the field. Okay, So this is the diagram. This is the diagram. So these are the precautions. We should prevent ice crystal formation. Concentration of solute should be less. We shouldn't allow the cell content to leak. Okay. We should choose the right cryoprotectant according to the cell that we use, etc. Okay. Some of the applications here are, I've already given you so many applications to reculture, to protect them from getting, like natural disasters, etc. etc. You can read on your own.